Well, it started with an innocent college crush on a girl and ended in a major upset in the world of college rowing.
What a story. After the break, a love story turned sports story that really happened at the University of Minnesota 20 years ago. Find out what led a familiar face to write a new movie based on this unbelievable story next. It's a Minnesota sports story most people probably don't even know about. 20 years ago, the University of Minnesota crew team made history racing against the top Ivy League schools at the most prestigious rowing event in the country. Against all odds, they won the event. How about that? Now, this inspirational story is on its way to the big screen, and how it got there is almost as impressive as the story itself. And joining us to talk about the movie this morning, Remember Minnesota, is co-writer John Carroll Lynch, of course a very familiar face, and real-life inspiration and producer Brad Melby. Good to have you guys here.
Thanks, good to be here.
Yeah, well, John, first of all, let's talk about the movie and how it started 16 years ago. You said it was your wife who was in his office,
that's right,
a financial planner here in town, and how it all kind of came together.
Well, Brad got my wife's name for $7.50 as a lead, and that led to making this movie.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, she heard the story from Brad in his office, and I heard the story at Six Flags in Los Angeles and the Superman ride, and it was so captivating, so powerful, and I thought it had to be made into a movie. I was really excited.
And there was an oar, right, hanging over your by your desk in your office?
Yeah, it was the oar from after winning our big race, and I would often just put a little marker by it, and people would ask about it, and John asked about the oar and our experiences.
And what a story. I love it, too, because you are like an every kind of man out there, like a regular guy. In high school, right, you were just a regular kind of guy. You were not a standout athlete.
I would say less than ordinary is more appropriate. I don't know how many days my mom must have been on her knees hoping I'd make it through life. So I made some bad choices in life. That's actually what's kind of inspirational about the story, is to overcome some of the challenges and things that I was going through at the time.
Well, and you were telling me that in the break that you had never rowed before, and yet you get caught up in this whole idea of, well, here's this good-looking girl.
Well, that didn't hurt.
Yeah.
And North Dakota, Minnesota aren't really known as great powerhouse rowing states. So it was another thing that we had to overcome, obstacles. We had to overcome ice.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And so you wanted to kind of get to know this girl who was she was part of the team, right?
Right, yes.
And so you decided, since you're a tall guy, rowers
she
need to be
recruited me,
tall.
Yeah. She said we needed a few tall men for our team, and I showed up, and it turns out there were five men for a 4-seat boat, and I had to work all I could, all that I had in me to impress the coach to be able to say, you know, I'm worthy of making this team.
And the thing about the University of Minnesota men's crew team is it's a club sport.
Right.
So it takes a deep commitment to stay in it, because they get no support from the university.
And to this day, they get no funding.
Yeah, but as a matter of fact, you know, it's been really interesting with this movie coming up, because they got this beautiful new boathouse, and they were going to tear down the corrugated tin hut behind the power plant that they rode out of. But thanks to the university, they're not going to do that for a while, at least until we get a chance to use the space.
Well, it's a great story, and you're going to be playing the title role in the movie.
No, I'm a little too old to play a collegiate rower. I'm playing Brad's dad in the movie. Can't you tell the resemblance?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
We really look a lot alike.
And you hope to get in production very soon. You're going to do a reading tonight.
Yeah, we're doing a reading at the Ritz tonight. It's for the Screenwriters Workshop. It's really going to be exciting for us, because it'll be the first time we'll be able to hear it out loud.
And I love that it's all grassroots effort, as was this effort 20 years ago to win this. So you go into this Ivy League setting, and they're probably looking at Minnesota, you know, that kind of thing. Just kind of looking down their noses at you, I'm sure.
The feeling that we got was that, and we actually, you know, displaced another boat by being there. So for us to go on their water and their turf, so to speak, and clean up was a pretty remarkable thing.
Oh, it's great. And I was kind of alluding to this. It's a grassroots effort in the sense that it's being financed largely by Minnesota dollars, the movie production itself.
That's our intention. It's both to keep control of the project so it looks the way we want it to look, but also because Minnesota's a main character in it, and the university particularly. So,
will shooting take place largely in Minnesota?
We're going to try to shoot it almost entirely in Minnesota. If we get a few extra dollars, we may spend a little time in Philadelphia on the Schuylkill River, where the Dad Vale, the world's largest regatta, takes place, and that's where Brad and his shipmates did so well.
And Brad, you were telling me that one of your shipmates is now coach, right, over at the school?
Tom Altenhoff.
Yeah.
He's just been a remarkable coach ever since, and he's taken the team to really new highs ever since. Still with the same tin hut and the modest beginnings, he's really been a stellar coach.
Well, and John, you know, sports movies, especially these days, we love movies that are real, not just a fictional account, but in this case, this really happened. A lot of people don't know that it happened.
That's right.
And these are the kind of inspirational stories people just eat up. I do, certainly.
You know, it's true. I think that's true. And I also think that in the venue, looking at the Mississippi, the beauty of the river, juxtaposed to the kind of physical effort and amazing peril that you're in when you're in a boat like that.
Yeah.
It's going to make it a very dramatic story.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. And you hope to be in production, you said?
May 2008.
2008. Okay, well, we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Great having you guys on the show.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Some Minnesota history you maybe didn't know, right? If you'd like to see a reading of the script for Remember Minnesota, you can attend the Script Night workshop tonight. As John mentioned, it's at the Ritz Theater in Northeast Minneapolis. It starts at 7 o'clock and is open to the public. And yeah, John, you're going, who? I know that guy. He was in Fargo, of course.
Right.
Yeah, many other
geez.
movies, too.